everyone. It's your buddy, it's your pal. I'm Karnik, and this is Serenity Wargaming and Explanations. Thank you for joining me for my Star Wars Armada segment where I go over upgrade cards, explain how they work, what's going on. Today we're going to be focusing on the commander TF-1726. They are a commander for the Separatist faction. How do you tell, how this card where it goes? If you look in the bottom left-hand corner, you won't see any icons there. That's how you can tell that this is a commander upgrade card. Opposite corner, you'll see that it has the Separatist faction icon there next to its point cost, which is 26 points. TF-1726, if you look in front of their name, you'll see a little dot or bullet point, signifies that they are unique. You can only ever have one TF-1726. This upgrade card is a lot of fun. It's cheap. It's not super difficult to really get some benefit out of this card, although you kind of have to, employ some other mechanics to get full value. You might often hear jokingly this upgrade commander being referred to as Freedom Bot or TF-1726. These are some American jokes that players make in reference to the American Revolutionary War, which happened in 1776. People just like cutting out that two and throwing in another number. But if you hear jokes like that, that's where that's coming from. Okay, as I always do, I just read through the card. I give a quick, how does this work? Boom, we get that out of the way, and then I go into detail and break the card down. All right, let's read it. Once per activation, while a friendly ship is attacking a ship, the attacker adds one black die to its attack pool for each Ray token the defender has, to a maximum of 2 additional die. In a nutshell, again, how does it work? So once per activation for one, so that means just one of your attacks. If you're attacking a ship, if they've got Ray tokens on there, you can add a black die for each Ray token for a maximum of 2 additional die. That's it. So it's great for example, maybe you're doing a long range attack. You're only gathering red die, but you roll those red die. Now you look at your opponent's ship. Okay, he's got 2 Ray tokens on there. So I can scoop up 2 black die and add them to my attack pool. So it's just more damage, and you can't go wrong with just, more damage coupled with the benefit of those Ray tokens. And I'll kind of dig into that more in a little bit, but that's how this card works. Is just, do they have Ray tokens? Yes, I can add 2 black dice. Perfect. TF in a nutshell, we've covered it. For TF, you're going to often notice this card is almost always paired with B2 rocket troopers. That's because B2 rocket troopers have the ability to put Ray tokens on an enemy ship, and it's really the most reliable way Separatists have right now of getting Ray tokens out there. So you're going to see these two paired in conjunction all over the place, because otherwise there just really isn't an effective way that Separatists have to put raid on things. You might also see this with what's that fleet command the Providence has, or the Separatist has, the Jedi Hostage. You'll often see this in conjunction with Jedi Hostage. And I'm not going to go over those cards terribly too much. I just want to point out that that's kind of where you're going to see some raid generation. Okay, so to go over each part. So again, once per activation. So again, if a ship, doesn't matter if a ship makes 2 or 3 or 4 or 15 attacks, it doesn't matter. You can only do this once for one of your attacks. And it has to be against a ship that you're shooting at. And again, they have to have Ray tokens. The defending ship has to have Ray tokens. Now, you can't, like I said, you can use this with B2s because B2s, for example, you can gather initial die pool, and even though the enemy ship has no Ray tokens on there, after you roll your dice pool, B2 rocket troopers, now that you're in step 3 in attack, which is resolve damage effects, you can exhaust this card, throw a Ray token on there, and then go back to TF and say, okay, now you have a Ray token on your ship. Now I'm going to scoop up 1 extra black die, and I'm going to chuck that into my attack pool. Some players get a little confused by attack pool. They see attack pool and they're like, oh, I add these dice before I roll my attack pool. And no, that's not how that works. Add is an add effect for modifying dice. Again, this is while attacking. It's in this situation, it's not telling you can add dice to your attack pool before you roll. This is a resolve attack effect. You have to do this after you have rolled your attack pool. This is when you add the black dice. It's not before that. Some players get a little confused on that. And again, so even if a defending ship has like 4 raid tokens on there, you can only add in 2 dice. You can't add in 4. Okay, so by and large, that's pretty much. It's not overly complicated. I just like making sure I'm picking at some of these little details I see players get a little confused about. One thing I love about TF-1726 to get into some of the uses is, raid tokens by themselves, you see a lot of players just kind of just ignore them or easily just get around them. So what I see players do to get full benefit of TF-1726 is that you're not necessarily throwing raid tokens on a ship with B2s of the command that the other players wanting to do. Like, for example, if it's like a carrier ship and they're wanting to just throw out a bunch of squadron commands, do it of the command that they are going to struggle to pull that raid token off, right? So if you're able to put something on there like concentrate fire in engineering, and it's on a ship that doesn't typically want to do either of those commands because they want to do either navigation or squadron, they're going to really struggle to take off those 2 other raid tokens to stop you from getting that benefit of just throwing more black dice at them. I mean, I've seen some players rack up all 4 raid tokens on there, and then that player really has to struggle. Like, man, do I really want to discard my command dial to clear all these raid tokens? Or do I just keep suffering with the consequences of having these raid tokens? So again, you don't necessarily need to stack up to all 4, because again, you only get a benefit from 2. So you kind of look at that ship and be like, okay, I'm going to throw these 2 raid tokens on there that my opponent is going to struggle to get off. And that way I can keep getting my benefit. And then, yeah, you're forcing that decision on them if they want to try to work ways around to get rid of those raid tokens. So I kind of like that play, that dynamic. I think it's really beneficial. One thing I do want to point out is that TF does have one clarification on the rules forum. Somebody asked, can a player choose when to resolve TF-1726? Because it doesn't have one of those necessary wordings. It's implied, but wasn't specifically listed in there about if this upgrade card is a may effect. Like, can you do this, or is it always the first attack? And yeah, the clarification just says, yes, the player can determine when to resolve this effect once per activation. So glad we got that cleared up a little bit. But there's some fun builds. I've seen mass Magnificent builds. I've seen mass hard cells with the TF and the Rocket Troopers, Providences, Recusants. It's great that almost every variant. I mean, now that you've got what am I trying to say here? Like, I've seen some use now of TF now that they've got the Gazantes, even though they have only the gunnery team and Ion. You can still throw some beneficial upgrades on there, which only helps this little tiny cruiser like punch way above its weight. So lots of interesting play aspects around here. Be sure to show me like what some of your favorite fleets are utilizing TF-1726. But other than that, there's nothing else really crazy going off the card, nothing game breaking. Of course, if you find anything, please be sure to ask any official questions on the Atomic Mass Games rules forum. If it's just something simple or just need some clarification, I probably can provide that. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing whomever I see at the St. Laurent Open, which is going to be this weekend, and I'll be attempting to live stream that. So I'll have a video maybe up tomorrow, just going briefly over that, my expectations of what's going on, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Quick shout out to the sponsors of the channel. Firstly, to Otherworld Events. Regardless if you're needing assistance for event managing, planning, organizing, how to even start, or just need specific ideas for what it is you're doing that you already have a plan for, Otherworld Events can help you out. Second, to Admiral Tater's Ship Shop. Admiral Tater's Ship Shop, while specializing in Star Wars Armada miniature items, also has X-Wing and Legion items. If you're looking to really get some great looking acrylics on the table, whether it be holders for your upgrade cards or tokens or acrylic tokens, and most importantly, you just want a perfect range ruler with no flaws or errors in it that's going to give you exact measurements every time, highly recommend Admiral Tater. It's the range rulers I use at tournaments. I know they're cut perfectly, they're going to range perfectly, and I'm going to get that best measurement every single time. Also, just look at everything they have available. So thank you to our sponsors and enjoy the video.